Most people settle, not because they don't have dreams, but because they've been told those dreams are too big. From the moment we're young, we're taught to stay in line, color inside the box, play it safe. You want to be an artist, get a real job. You want to start a business, don't risk it. You want to stand out, don't be too loud. And so little by little, inch by inch, we shrink. We play small. We play scared. We play not to lose instead of playing to win. See, most people aren't failing. That's not the problem. They're floating, coasting. They're busy being busy, but never building. They wake up to alarms, not purpose. They chase weekends, not passions. They follow trends, not truth. And the worst part, they think that's normal. They think that's success. But success isn't about fitting in, it's about standing up. It's about asking more of yourself when no one's watching. It's about being willing to look crazy before you look brilliant. The 99%, they're not bad people, they're not lazy. They've just been lulled into sleep. Sleepwalking through life, clocking in and clocking out of their destiny. They've been taught that comfort equals happiness, but let me tell you something, comfort is a liar. It'll tell you you're fine when you're actually falling. It'll whisper you've made it when you've barely begun. Comfort will rock you to sleep while your purpose sits in the corner, starving. We've built a world where being average is applauded, where playing it safe is praised, and we call that being responsible. But deep down, you know better. You know you're not here just to exist. You're here to ignite, to stretch, to grow, to build something that didn't exist before you got here. You weren't born for mediocre. You weren't designed to blend in. So if you feel that fire, that itch, that pull inside you, don't ignore it. That's not ego, that's not fantasy. That's God's whisper. That's your soul screaming you were made for more. But make no mistake, the path to more is narrow. It's hard, it's lonely, and that's exactly why most people don't take it. Because the 99%, they wait for the right time, they wait for permission. They wait for someone to prove it's possible. But the 1%, they move, while the rest are watching, they're walking. While others are hesitating, they're building. They're not waiting for the crowd, they lead the crowd. And the truth is, you've got a choice. You can do what the world does, or you can do what you were born to do, but you cannot do both. So ask yourself, are you willing to do what the 99% are not? Because until you are, you'll keep getting what the 99% have got. Let me tell you something personal, a moment I don't always talk about, but it changed everything for me. There was a time early in my journey where I stood at a fork in the road, two choices. One road was wide, paved, and safe. It had handrails, lights, and applause from the crowd. It was a road that led to comfort, to predictability, to doing what everyone else said was smart. And then there was the other road, narrow, dark, no guarantee of success. No signs, just a gut feeling, a voice that said, there's something on the other side, but you'll have to fight for it. And I was scared, man. I was real scared. I remember looking around at friends, family, mentors, people I loved, and hearing the same message again and again. Play it safe, Denzel. Be realistic. You're talented, yeah, but don't gamble your life on a maybe. And it made sense. Safe made sense. Safe had a plan, but safe didn't speak to my soul. So I sat with it. I wrestled with it. I prayed on it. I asked myself, am I really about to choose a life I don't want, just to avoid the fear of the one I do? And I'll never forget this moment. I was walking down the street in New York City, watching people move like machines. Gray suits, blank stares, the same tired rhythm. And I realized they didn't start that way. Nobody dreams of being invisible, but the world teaches you to dim your light little by little until you disappear into the crowd. And I said to myself, nah, I can't live like that. I'd rather fall chasing the fire in my chest than leave forever without trying. So I chose the hard road. No guarantees, no applause, just a crazy belief in something nobody else could see. There were nights I was broke, nights I wanted to quit, auditions that went nowhere, doors slammed shut, but every time I got knocked down, that fire brought me back up. Because I wasn't chasing fame, I wasn't chasing money, I was chasing alignment. I was chasing that feeling that I was doing what I was born to do. And let me tell you something, that choice, that one decision to turn my back on safe and run toward purpose, it made me who I am. But here's the truth, I'm not special. You've had that same moment, That same fork in the road. You've felt it in your gut. That quiet voice saying there's more for you. And maybe you ignored it. Maybe you're still ignoring it. But I'm telling you now, if you keep choosing comfort over calling, you'll wake up one day and wonder who you could have been. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You just need courage, because the road less traveled, it's not empty. It's just reserved for those bold enough to walk it. The 1% think different. That's the truth. It's not just about talent or opportunity, it's mindset. It's obsession. It's discipline. It's faith when no one else believes. When you study the ones who separate themselves, the ones who rise, who dominate, who lead, you'll see one thing they all have in common. They do the things that are hard. The things that are uncomfortable, the things most people avoid. They wake up early not because it's trendy, but because they've got a mission. They train when no one's watching. They study when no one's asking. They do the reps not for the praise, but for the progress. While the 99% are focused on looking successful, the 1% are focused on becoming it. There's a kind of madness to it, a beautiful madness. The 1% are not normal. They say no when everyone else is saying yes. They skip parties, they sacrifice comfort, they don't follow the crowd. They're building while others are bragging. They're grinding while others are gossiping. They don't post about the work, they are the work. They're addicted to growth. They measure success in effort, not applause. They trust the process even when there's no proof yet. That's faith, that's focus. That's fire. You think they're lucky. Luck didn't show up at 5 a.m. when they were dragging themselves out of bed. Luck didn't sit with them when they failed for the 10th time. Luck didn't hold them when the whole world said, "You're not enough." That was discipline. That was vision. That was grit. And understand this, the 1% don't wait for motivation. They don't need someone to hype them up. They move regardless of how they feel, because they've learned to lead their emotions, not follow them. They don't have more time than you. They don't have more energy. They just make different choices every single day. Choices that stretch them, scare them, sharpen them. See, people want the prize, but they don't want the process. They want the lifestyle, but not the late nights. They want the result, but not the repetition. The 1% understand something deep, that greatness lives on the other side of pain. That mastery is hidden in the mundane. That elevation requires elimination of distractions, of doubts, of excuses. They aren't superheroes. They're just serious, serious about their time, serious about their habits, serious about becoming who they were born to be. That's the separation. That's the difference. That's the mindset. And it's available to anyone, but only if you're ready to stop thinking like the 99% and start living like the 1. Now I'm gonna ask you something real. Not the kind of question you post on social media or toss around in small talk, no. I'm talking about a mirror test. Just you and your reflection. You can't lie to that person. You can't fake it. You can't filter it. You know what's real, you know what you're avoiding, so let me ask you, what are you not doing that you know you should be? Maybe it's a dream you've buried so deep, you stopped calling it a dream, you renamed it unrealistic, too late, and not practical, but it still haunts you. Every time you see someone else doing what you were born to do, something inside you aches. That's not jealousy, that's a reminder, that's your potential knocking. Maybe it's a conversation you've been avoiding. The truth you need to speak, the apology you need to make, the boundary you need to set. But you don't, because it's uncomfortable, because it might change things. But let me tell you, discomfort is the price of freedom. And silence will cost you more than honesty ever will. Or maybe it's your health, your habits, the stuff nobody else sees. You say you want a better life, but your daily actions are telling a different story. You say you want peace, but you stay in chaos. You say you want growth, but you keep feeding distractions. You say you want love, but you don't even love yourself enough to keep your own promises. See, the mirror doesn't lie. The mirror shows you. And if you're brave enough to look into it, not just glance, but really look, you'll see the gap between who you are and who you're capable of being. And in that gap, that's where your power lives. That's where your next level is hiding. But most people don't look. Or if they do, they look with excuses. They say, I don't have time. They say, I don't know where to start. They say, I'll do it when I feel ready. Let me tell you, you will never feel ready. Readiness doesn't come before action. It comes after. Confidence comes after. Clarity comes after. You've got to move before the fear leaves. You've got to speak before the words feel perfect. You've got to start before you're certain. Because the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is what you refuse to face. So I'll ask again, what are you not doing? Not your neighbor, not your friend, not your boss. You, because the 1%, they don't wait to feel perfect. They don't wait for approval. They confront what most people avoid. And the moment you do that, the moment you stop running, stop hiding, stop delaying, you unlock a new version of yourself. A version that's been waiting patiently on the other side of your fear. The mirror will always show you the truth. The question is, will you answer it? So here's your call to action. Do what the 99% are not doing. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when it feels easy. Now. Because while most people are busy making excuses, the 1% are making moves. While the crowd is waiting for permission, the few are walking in purpose. And listen, this isn't about being better than anybody else. This is about being better than who you were yesterday. You've got something in you the world hasn't seen yet, something real, something raw. But it only comes out when you decide, when you step past the fear and into the fire. Because fire doesn't just burn, it builds. It forges, it refines, it reveals. You want to know who you really are. Step into the arena. Show up when you don't feel like it. Keep showing up when nobody's clapping. And keep going even when your knees are shaking. That's where greatness is born, not in applause, but in persistence. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Stop praying for the easy path. Start moving. Start failing. Start becoming, because the 99% talk, the 1% do, the 99% wish, the 1% work. They show up on the cold days, on the lonely days, on the I can't take this anymore days. And they push anyway, not because they're fearless, but because their purpose is bigger than their fear. This world has enough followers, enough people scrolling, doubting, hesitating. It needs leaders. It needs warriors, it needs builders, it needs people who are done playing small, people who are tired of waiting for someday, because someday is code for never. You've been given a gift life, you woke up today. That means you've still got a shot to break cycles, a shot to change your legacy, a shot to do something the people before you couldn't or wouldn't do. But it starts with one decision: to no longer be average, to no longer blend in, to no longer settle for what's comfortable and call it good enough. You were not built for ordinary. You were not born to coast. You were made to rise. So rise. Rise even if your voice shakes. Rise even if your hands tremble. Rise even if you don't know how it ends. Because while the 99% are sleeping, scrolling, settling, you're gonna be out there building. And one day, when they ask how you did it, you'll smile and you'll say, I just did what the 99% wouldn't. Now listen, everything I've said tonight, everything you've felt deep in your chest, that fire, that tug, that voice, it means something. It's not random, it's not hype, that's your soul waking up. That's your spirit remembering who you are, because you weren't put here to be a copy. You weren't born to blend in with the crowd. You were made to lead, to build, to stand tall when the world tells you to shrink. But the truth is, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's handing you your purpose. That's your job. That's your responsibility. So the question is not, can you? It's not, will they let you? It's, are you willing? Are you willing to do what the 99% are not? Are you willing to be uncomfortable, to be misunderstood, to be relentless? Because greatness is not given, it's earned, and it's earned daily. So when you walk out of here tonight, I don't want you to just feel inspired, I want you to act inspired. Start today. Start messy. Start scared, but start. Let the world stay distracted. Let the 99% keep talking. You get to work. Because the difference between a dreamer and a doer is that the doer decides. Now go be the one who decides. Thank you.